Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money Channel. Scam alert guys, a little bit of housekeeping before we get into today's video. I saw this from XRP Crypto Wolf. Apparently Oman's Indian Embassy Twitter account actually got hacked, and they're making it look like Brad Garlinghouse is giving away XRP. Yeah, you can't make this stuff up. Here's the tweet. Brad Garlinghouse with a blue check mark, but you guys can see here the handle is Oman Embassy _IND. So obviously not the real Brad Garlinghouse, because he says, XRP Moontime, to support our community, we are announcing a 100 million XRP giveaway. Wow, generous, Brad. The hacked account has tweeted several tweets relating to Garlinghouse in an attempt to give it a veneer of legitimacy. However, it takes several seconds to scroll through the tweets and verify, and Ripple doesn't have anything to do with the account, even though the handle makes it pretty obvious. So just be careful, guys. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Always keep your cryptocurrency safe. Do not send your cryptocurrency to any of these scammers. I personally keep my crypto. I get it off the exchange too, because these exchanges can get hacked as well. I personally keep mine on a Ledger Nano. That's where I like to keep mine. I have an affiliate link in the description of the video. And you can use my link if you guys want. You don't have to use it. Ledger has all kinds of great products. The bigger point here is not your keys, not your crypto. And so if you do not hold your private keys to your account wallets and your addresses, that means your cryptocurrency technically is not as safe as it could be. So again, just a public service announcement there. Wanted to keep moving on because Ripple just announced this. When it comes to the climate crisis, crypto must do its part to help build a more sustainable future. Yesterday, we signed the climate pledge and joined 375 plus businesses that are prioritizing the planet. So this is from the account, the Climate Pledge, and they're kickstarting off an initiative. This is a 2040 agenda, so looking to reduce carbon emissions by that year. And of course, Ripple being an economic forum related company, it's no surprise that they're signing on to these climate change initiative projects. And cryptocurrency, right? DLT technology, blockchain, we've moved away from proof of work. Ethereum just saw emerge as well, reducing its electricity output by 99%. So all these things are falling in line with the main narrative, the cryptocurrency, environmentally friendly narrative of, we can't waste energy, we got to save the planet, so on and so forth. I mean, it's good. The optics are good. Of course, XRP is better for so many other reasons. I mean, the energy efficiency thing is also a positive benefit for XRP. And we've got XRP_Crow here, just highlighting some of these infographics that he's posted in the past. A lot of these great little tidbits of information. If you guys aren't familiar, XRP Crypto Wolf here also bringing up this striking image that has been floating around the crypto space for quite some time. So, if you've been in this for a while, XRP was, one of the first ones to really kind of boast about how little energy they used. And so they're, I guess, making it obvious now, signing up to this climate pledge. I saw this one from Matthew LINY, guys. Now, I couldn't really get over the title of this article, Not Stellar or Ripple. Australia to use China's digital yuan for cross-border payments. Now, okay, on the surface, if you are reading this, it is an interesting development. An Australian senator has proposed the use of China's central bank digital currency, or the digital yuan, for cross-border payments. The recent proposal came from Australian politician Andrew Bragg, a senator for the Australian state of New South Wales. On Monday, Bragg proposed strict reporting requirements for banks that could make the availability of the digital yuan for use in Australia. As we know, China has been aggressively working on pushing the use of the digital yuan to the international market. And as you guys know or may not know, Australia is a big trading partner with China. So they are saying, since, China has the digital yuan, and since, they are kind of getting their systems in place to be able to perform trade without a US dollar, right, moving away from US dollar hegemony, this Australian politician is saying, well, we will use a CBDC, namely the Chinese yuan, to facilitate this trade. There's obviously criticism about this. Australia's new Labour government, led by Prime Minister Anthony Albanese, recently introduced token mapping to identify the characteristics of all crypto tokens. Australia's central bank also started the pilot tests for having its own CBDC in the country. As per the previous reports, crypto giants like Ripple and Stellar, so here's where they mention Ripple and Stellar, with Australia's financial giant Novati Group on an AUD-pegged stablecoin. So they talk a little bit about that. Meanwhile, the headline here, Not Stellar or Ripple. So, what's this guy trying to say? Is this really about Australia deciding to move on to the Chinese yuan, or is he trying to find a reason to land a dig in there against Ripple and Stellar? Because if you're reading this, and I skipped a whole bunch of parts here, but if you're reading this, it really kind of doesn't make sense to mention Stellar or Ripple in this article. And Matthew LANY here even brings up a good point. Counterparty risk if Australia decides to hold the yuan. So what protocol will convert yuan to Australian central bank digital currency or to dollars? It will have to be a mechanism that can source for liquidity like XLM or XRP. We know Novati is the go-to Australian company in that country that will convert, that is already running on RippleNet. So it kind of really doesn't make sense. There is the counterparty risk. Why would Australia want to hold a whole bunch of yuan? I mean, this is how we've been doing it in the past, but with the future of finance becoming ever more global and the technology becoming more efficient, why wouldn't you just source the liquidity through Novati as an example, through XRP as an example, to do trade with China? That's just common sense. And then, some people down here like the Digital Dodo saying, for those who recall, Project Dunbar reached the same conclusion that it was still inefficient to hold currency pairs and more research was needed into a bridge. This doesn't solve the underlying problem. Still keeping unnecessary currency pairs. You don't have to keep an unnecessary currency pair if you don't need to, because XRP exists and XLM, I guess for that matter, to source for liquidity. So wanted to thank Matthew LANY for pointing that out. And here's one from the real Kiyosaki. The end is here. Called Jerry Williams, my trusted gold and silver dealer. He said, I can't get gold or silver coins. The mint will not sell me anymore. To me, this means the end of fake money is here, guys. So just along these lines of, US dollar hegemony losing dominance, as stated in an earlier tweet, silver is going to $100 to $500. Get some, protect yourself. So he is suggesting that, this is the end of an era. Eventually, gold and silver will rally. And if there is a dramatic shift like this, there is going to need to be a mechanism to transfer this value, especially if the rise in price is unexpected. So, we've talked a little bit about the repricing of gold, and we talked a little bit about how distributed ledger technology and XRP in particular is going to be that mechanism once this big shift occurs. I've done several videos about this, and in this video, more evidence suggesting that this is going to happen, okay? San here on Twitter posting this. So the IMF and KPMG concluding, and this was in 2022, that institutions are mainly going to be permissioned networks like Corda and Hyperledger. Time to be red-pilled. Here's a bit of a thread here, just demonstrating this. Research by the IMF confirms that only permissioned networks are suitable for these types of transactions, and just gives us, all the different companies that are going to be running on a consortium of Hyperledger technology. Here we have Hyperledger from Forbes. Half of the Forbes blockchain 50 companies use Hyperledger, and notice how many of these companies are also Ripple-enabled, also Ripple partners. Just as a side note here, to get into this even further, let me just remind you, Ripple has been part of the Hyperledger Consortium since 2015. And for those of you guys kind of confused about it, Ripple and NTT Data rebranded the new version of the protocol as Hyperledger Quilt. And what is meant by Hyperledger? Just another topic here. Hyperledger is an open source project created to support the development of blockchain-based distributed ledgers. Hyperledger consists of a collaborative effort to create the needed frameworks, standards, tools, and libraries to build blockchains and related applications. And just from Investopedia here, guys, from back in June of 2019, since late 2015, the Hyperledger project has existed to facilitate collaboration among developing blockchains and distributed ledgers of various types. This is when Ripple joined Hyperledger, developers by the Linux Foundation, and now including dozens of members, Hyperledger aims to improve the performance of blockchain networks in order to help integrate this new technology with businesses worldwide. Now, CoinDesk reports that the distributed ledger startup Ripple, the developer of the cryptocurrency of the same name, now it's called XRP, of course, has joined the consortium. So Ripple, of course, part of the Hyperledger Consortium, because we know there are going to be many use cases and all these blockchains have to be interoperable. So just down here, some of the blockchains that are going to contribute to this, Ripple down here in the other category, making up a large portion of that. Here we have some other infographics just describing permissionless and permissioned blockchains, public versus private, and some of the differences with those. So an interesting little thread here, just kind of giving you guys a sense of where the future's going with DLT, distributed ledger technology, and where Ripple specifically falls into the mix. Again, it's not going to be a one blockchain that serves them all. What it is going to be, though, a handful of blockchains that are going to restructure not just finance, but everything of value. This is why we hear the term the Internet of Value or the Internet of Everything. Well, Ripple's going to be a part of that. The Hyperledger Consortium, obviously a big part of that. So I will leave this in the description of the video for you guys if you're interested in reading the full thing. Just wanted to kind of hit that point home because Now we're hearing about this. Are gold prices about to take off? Here's a great leading indicator of rising gold prices. Now, this, I don't see this too often. Somebody took a photo of this. I believe it's from the Financial Post. Or no, sorry, the Wall Street Journal. It says it right there. Gold loses status as a safe haven or as a haven. Metal has lost 8.2% this year as nervous investors turn to treasury bonds. Now, guys, if you are noticing, this has been printed in a newspaper, okay? A newspaper, for those of you guys who do not know, I think it'd be very sad if you did not know what this is, but maybe you're young, you do not know, a physical paper. Instead of reading your news on the internet, it came in a paper. Now, who reads these kinds of things? Baby boomers, older generations. Here they're saying, this is the mainstream news, saying gold loses status as a haven. They talk about all the doom and gloom, how the precious metal has gone down in price. They talk a little bit about the manipulation. Here, let me just bring up gold price, just give you guys a sense of what I'm talking about here. Gold per ounce, okay guys, over here, as we see when there's usually turmoil in the market, usually the uncertainty spurs on gold to go up. But what is happening now? Gold is going down. We're down below this former level of support that we saw back in mid-2021. So gold, and silver for that matter, really should be going up, but we're just not seeing it. We're seeing these prices actually fall. And not only that, they're posting this in mainstream media outlets. Wanted to thank Lauren Boston here for pointing that out. Meanwhile, what are we seeing, guys? We're seeing the price of XRP rise. We're seeing it based on what is looking like a positive outcome in the lawsuit. And if you guys didn't catch my video this morning, I talk a little bit about markets. I talk a little bit about midterm election results. I'll link it up here in the top right-hand corner. The other thing we're seeing, guys, is this, and I think this is a typo, 150 million, I think it means, XRP worth more than $58 million, has just been transferred from FTX to an unknown wallet. This is coming from Michael Branch. Whale addresses are moving nearly 300 million of Ethereum and XRP in just 24 hours. So we're seeing lots of crypto transfers, possibly people moving their assets, getting ready for what is to be coming next. Because the other thing I was talking about, and I gotta say, this was not just brought to me by one source, I believe Crypto Dash was also mentioning this. Yeah, here it is. Just had an epiphany. Sabbatical year of the Shemitah is ending on September the 26th. The Vatican ordered all funds to be transferred to the Vatican by September the 30th. What if the US is using the Ukraine war as a red herring to transfer billions upon billions from a financial collapse to a safe haven? Well, that would play right into what this gentleman says here. A major event to occur by the end of September, and I've talked a little bit about Shemitah. Let me play you guys this real quick.
Every 7 years, on the exact end day of the Shemitah, which is the exact end day of basically the Jewish year every 7 years, there's usually a major market collapse, and it's actually usually on the exact day.
And so I'm going to stop it there, guys. I've gone over this, okay? And you can pause the video if you want to see what he's talking about here. 66, 73, 1980, 87, 94, 2001, 2008, and 2015. All these alerts happening on the Shemitah year.
This is a Shemitah year, and it actually ends on September 26th, which is a Monday. So I've definitely said to keep your eyes on that date. But when I saw this, I was like, what? It's a German politician.
Dieser 24. September 2022.
Okay, I'm just going to stop it again because I am going to translate this if you're not reading the screen. Dear colleagues, this 24th of September 2022 will be a day remaining in our memories as a day we will say, he says, I remember exactly where I was. Kind of like a September 11th.
And even more interesting, on top of the German politicians saying September 24th is going to be like a day that everyone on earth will remember, the Vatican has told all of its people that whatever funds they have across the world to send them all back to the Vatican by September 30th, which is like 4 days after the end of the Shemitah. And of course, when they tell people this, you know, you don't just wire billions of dollars on like September 29th when the Pope told you to have it back there by the 30th, right? You probably do it a few days before. And they probably mentioned that to them. So the Vatican seems to know something's going on. So something like these birds flying by, black birds, black clouds, something ominous seems to be on the horizon.
So something ominous on the horizon. If you guys didn't catch this morning's video, I talk again about the midterm elections and, how we could eventually see. So the good news is we could eventually see the market rally. But before that, we might actually see volatility. We might actually see a crash playing into this Shemitah narrative. And of course, guys, when a financial system restructuring occurs, now, I mean, we've never experienced this in our lives, but something has to change. There needs to be a reevaluation. Now we are at least lucky that a new financial system is going to be facilitated by cryptocurrency, distributed ledger technology like XRP. And here's a tweet from Digital Asset by another pundit. Okay, another expert talking about the repricing of physical gold more fairly. Listen to this.
All these countries who've been bullied by the US dollar are looking for new partners, and they're looking for a new system. And part of that is looking for a new LBMA or a new gold exchange, because Putin and Xi and others are very much aware, like anyone who trades precious metals honestly knows, that the LBMA market and the COMEX and the OTC market and the forward contracts leverage is an artificial, legalized way of repressing the paper gold price. So it's not normalized pricing of gold. It's not a conspiracy theory. I even knew this before I became a gold bug or gold interested. When I was working in Wall Street, we all knew this. But in terms of the gold exchange and the LBMA, Putin, like many of the things, has known that the West, he's been patiently with it. Modern monetary theory, the idea that you can solve a debt crisis with more debt and then pay for that with mouse click money, was once a fringe concept in the US or in the West. Now it is mainstream. And it's an absolute insult to the notion of money as a store of value. Now it's just a medium of exchange. Russia and the East are thinking, no, we like things like fertilizer, gold, and hay and hard assets. And they're saying we need to reprice and normalize the pricing of the LBMA market. It's one of the many sins of the West that they want to correct. Now, whether they succeed or not is another question. But it's no coincidence that the Moscow World Standard has popped up in addition to everything else as we de-dollarize, as the petrodollar gets diluted by other exchanges and other trades, that they'll do the same thing with the gold market because it is real, it is a monetary metal. And so the Russian finance minister is now proposing that these Eurasian banks start creating their own standard for gold, that these committees come together and they bring in, whether it's an aggregated or a monetary national unit, they're going to reprice physical gold more fairly. Because Putin knows, like everyone else knows, that the LBMA is an open joke. It's legalized use of leverage to artificially repress the gold price. So again, when you look at 8 LBMA banks effectively having thousands and thousands of levered contracts short, when most of the market is going long and the gold price is repressed, that's not fair gold pricing, regardless of whether you're a gold bull or not.
So another statement from another pundit suggesting that we are going to see a fairer gold price based on what's happening in the East, based on Putin and the de-dollarization. And had this happened 50, 60 years ago, this would be a catastrophe because we would not have the same types of efficient, electronic, modern mechanisms to transfer money. But, we're in 2022 now. A new financial system's already been built. We know XRP is going to be the backbone, the liquidity provider. So I know I've already talked about this. I've already talked about XRP moving the money. I just wanted to point you guys to more pundits suggesting gold is undervalued right now. We are going to see gold and probably silver prices rally in the near term, so maybe an opportunity to buy gold, silver, physical gold and silver, not on the stock exchange, physical gold and silver. And I even saw people asking over there on Twitter, is it still a good time to buy XRP? The rally is just beginning, guys. XRP is still trading under $1. It is going to move all the money, especially if we see a restructuring and a repricing. Yeah, it's a good time to buy XRP. That's just my opinion, but I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.